So in the star constellations, they see that a great man is born, so they attributed that to Nimrod. But how is he going to come back? And even in the birth of him, they didn't see a man because they didn't understand that it is a virgin birth. So they made up a story. And the story says that he was cut up, or Osiris was cut up into 12 pieces. And they found all of his body, but they did not find his male parts. So they created a temple called the Luxor temple in Egypt. In this temple, they built what we see today called the Washington Monument. So you have this obelisk in the Washington Monument, and it stands the same as one stood in Egypt at the time inside of the Luxor temple. So it stands like this, and every time a pharaoh comes here, this represents how the Virgin Mary is going to reproduce the satanic god. So this is supposed to be the male part. He has to go in here and stand in front of the obelisk. And through standing in front of the obelisk, which is an idol, they say prayers, demonic prayers over him, which they say now he incorporates the body of Nimrod, or the spirit of Nimrod. So now he becomes the pharaoh. When this pharaoh dies, the next pharaoh has to go through the same ritual, because everyone that comes into power has to take on the spirit of Nimrod, or Osiris, which they are calling the sun god. Now, there are 3 obelisks in the world. There's one that stands right in front of the Vatican. So whenever there's a new Vatican that comes into power, he has to stand in front of the obelisk and be sworn in, because he's coming under the power of Satan and Nimrod. So they set up also in Washington, D.C. an obelisk, so that whenever we have a new president, he stands as the satanic power being entered into him to become the new person to bring about the spirit of Nimrod. Understand that?
Yes, yes.
There's only one more, and it's in Great Britain. So we came out of Great Britain.
Right.
Understand that?
Yes.
The world banking system comes out of Great Britain.
Right.
We are in debt, this country, what, $12 trillion now? Which they say we owe Great Britain. Great Britain doesn't care about our debt. We are in the same system with Great Britain, because what they're trying to do and what we're trying to do is bring about the Antichrist. Okay? Now, so every year they go and they have this presidential, or every 4 years they have the presidential inauguration. He's standing here at the White House. Directly in front of him is the Washington Monument, because he's going to take on the spirit of Antichrist.
Wow.
Okay?
Amen.
Now, one thing I have to say, if you're a person that loves deception, this is a good time to leave, because that's about as simple as it's going to get here. Okay? You got the booklet that I gave to you?
Yes.
On the top of it, it says, what is the Chamagian prophecy? What is the Chamagian prophecy, or the rattlesnake prophecy? The rattlesnake prophecy is a prophecy that the winged serpent, or the spirit of Nimrod, or Osiris, Isis, Horus, all of these Egyptian deities, that the spirit of Nimrod is going to reappear in the year 2012. This is a prophecy from the Mayan Indians. They say that everything ends in 2012. Now, them saying that everything ends 2012 is based on what they call the Kutums, which is a 19.7 year span. So they say after the 13th Kutum, then the Antichrist, or the spirit of Lucifer, is going to come and enter a man, and the winged serpent is going to control the earth. This is the prophecy. So, if you're looking at the front of your page, right? Okay. 9/11 was an intentional sacrifice, what they were calling the grand sacrifice to Lucifer. They are going to establish the number 11 on the earth as an altar to Satan. And at the proper time in history, they were going to destroy the altar with the people inside to make a mass sacrifice to Satan. But when were they going to do this? Understanding that the Chemagian, or the rattlesnake prophecy, is for 2012, the perfect time for them to do this is 11 years before he returns. So September 11th, 2001, don't say the United States government. Don't say, what you have to understand is the Freemasons and everybody who is part of that Lucifer worshiping, Satan worshiping plan was part of 9/11 to bring about this mass sacrifice to Satan 11 years before his scheduled return to the earth. Amen. So this was something that these Satan worshipers had been planning. They didn't plan it the year before. This was planned as far back as 1925, but the plan overall goes far back all the way to the creation of the United States, which came into existence in 1776, not by happenstance, but by satanic plan. Amen. And we're going to look at that. So in 1996, they discontinued the $20. Remember they were changing the $20, everybody? Yeah. And they start recreating this new $20 bills. And on the $20 bill, we didn't know, but was their plan that they were going to hit the Pentagon, the first diagram you see, and 9/11 would also be destroyed at that time. Do you see the picture of the 9/11? That same picture is carved into a building that was built in 1925. So they knew about this plan as far back as 1925. This exact picture, and I'll give you a copy of that so you can see that. I don't think this is a coincidence. Who prints the money in the United States? The Federal Reserve. Who owns the Federal Reserve? Not us. Not the United States of America. The Federal Reserve is a private bank. Yeah. It is owned by Rockefellers, Bilderbergs, Wahlbergs, J.P. Morgans. The bank that controls the United States is not owned by the United States. That's right. It is an outside source. So they print our money, and they print our money at interest. For every dollar that they print and give us, they charge us $1.25, for example. So it is a private bank. They print the money for the United States, and they are all Masons and Luciferian worshipers. Yeah.